Usman Khawaja show, 3 tons in a row at the SCG. You remember back to last year's Ashes, scoring back-to-back hundreds at the SCG after a bit of time in the wilderness. Makes 195 knot. Day 3 gets canned, so you come into the morning of day 4. Australia declares with Usman on 195 not out. Do you think that they should have let him go out and have, say, 2 overs to get you 200? I believe Warner, Labuschagne and Smith all made double hundreds this summer. Mm-hmm. Or do you do the team thing and say, look, mate, we've lost that much play. We want to win test matches. I know it's a dead rubber, but, you know, foot on the throat mentality. You seem to think it was a little stiff on Usman. Was that your thinking?
Yeah, I think on Usman, and probably in 40-odd years' time when Usman's sitting down with his grandkids and he says, you know, I almost made
on his grandkids?
Sitting down with his grandkids.
With
his grandkids.
I heard with.
Yeah.
Okay. On as well if they're really misbehaving.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, come here, you little shits.
Yeah. The walls of Jericho.
Yeah, and he's there, you know, saying, I almost got 200. And they're like, why didn't you, Dad? And he's just like, fucking Pat Cummins. No. That wouldn't be the scenes. But it's probably like, if you get to that point where you're almost going to double up, and it's a very rare kind of occurrence within cricket. Mm-hmm. He hadn't done it before. Like, I think you give him the opportunity to be able to do it. I know Usman's decision would have been like, do the team think, hey, I want to
100%.
Yeah, like, I understand why they did that decision. It's always going to be, you know, the team first over individual accolades. Like, I can always see that. But in a game that's reigned most of it, you know, potentially could have reigned some more, being Sydney, and you know, a day and a half left to take 20 wickets, looking like it was never going to happen. Give him a couple overs, see if he can get, you know, send him out there for 2 or 3 overs, and say, hey, get you 200 quickly, and then we're going out. I don't see why he wouldn't do it. I'm
gonna play devil's advocate here and disagree. If they had gotten on straight away, it might have been a different story yesterday, but they lost so much time.
Well, I think if they had more time, I lean the other way. I think it makes more sense to declare if you get 2 full days. But since you lost the morning session, you like get 1.5 days. It was never going to happen. It was this match.
Bullshit.
Was always going to end.
They beat him in 2 days in Brisbane.
Yes, but
you have to have that mentality.
We're playing a different pitch.
Yeah, well, it was very green. That's true. But you have to have that mentality. You have to have that confidence. I suppose. Look, World Test Championship. I think we can lose all these games against India. We're still going to play in the final. But
New Zealand have been eliminated, and I think Pakistan have been eliminated from that as well. Like, I don't think it's a dead rubber of a series. We've already won. We're practicing to get to India.
I think it's a fucking test match.
Let Usman get his 200.
I think so.
We're never going to win this test match.
They could. Well, there's 15 overs left. All right, what happens? They take a few here, and it finishes 5 or 6 down, and you think, oh, imagine if we had another half
3
hour.
Overs. We had 3
overs. Because you lose the changeover, so there's 15 minutes. So
it's 3 overs, you lose in the changeover. So it's 6 overs. All right. Sorry.
In time, it's half an hour to 40 minutes.
Yes. Well, they say it's 3 overs in the changeover. I think that's what they were saying on commentary the other day.
Well, 6 overs. If you've taken 6 for and you've got this South African tail,
it's never going to happen. Never going to happen.
The thing.
I disagree.
The thing that has surprised us in this test is South Africa's tail. They've actually
wagged. Yeah,
they wagged in their second innings.
That's my point. That's never going to happen.
Well, the fortune teller, meteorologist, fucking cardiologist. Orthopedic surgeon. Yes. It was never fortune teller. That'd be a good kit. Lab coat, like a mole, and like fucking bandana and shit, like an old gypsy. What was the other thing? Meteorologist. Oh yeah, and tight, something tight. Look, we're gonna have to agree to disagree on this one. And you know what the deciding factor would have been? Usman, knowing how good a bloke he is, would have been saying, "Let's do the team thing. I don't give a fuck. Let's go skittle these
Let's go for
blokes and take 20 wickets in a day."
I'm just advocating for Usman, and when he in his 70s, when he goes, "Fuck, I should have got that 200,"
and he goes,
I should regret it.
Look, kids, I don't regret it because it's just 5 runs and it's just a number, and I had a fucking good time with my boys.
Yeah.
I won a test championship.
And I won a test championship.
It's a long game. It's a long game.
And then I went and scored 200 in India the fucking next week. So next month.
That's the hope.
That's my fortune teller.
Let's hope it doesn't end up in regret.
That's it.
That's my thoughts.
Outside of if Harman Maharaj didn't bat the way they did.
Yeah, it's a different story.
Completely different story. We
Yeah.
could have easily have probably rolled through them.
So South Africa made 255. Maharaj had 50 odd, and how much did Harmer have?
47.
And they were wagging. So when they were 6 for not much,
Yeah.
you know, last night that the boys probably would have been backing themselves to take 14 wickets today, but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem as though it's going to eventuate.
Yeah, and I think in the concept of, you know, preparing for India, they wanted to bowl a lot anyway. They wanted to see what we've got in Agar. We've talked about the trial and that. Like, you can see why the decision was made. We fully understand it. So, and that's the way it's going to go. But we will see 15 overs to go. They've got to get 8 wickets.